Nice, the picks battle. Pretty good, huh? Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll call the Public Works meeting to order. Could I get a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting? I got it from Paul. Is there a second? Second from Dan. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh. All right. Go ahead, Deb.
Good morning. The first thing we have on the agenda is to declare two things surplus so that we can put them up for auction. One is the gray doll with frame issues, and the other is a public health vehicle from Carpool that also has frame issues.
Okay, is there a motion to put those up for auction?
So moved.
Paul makes the motion, Daryl seconds it. Any discussion on it? All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Deb?
And the other thing that we have is the internship that we would like to do in the shop. It requires oversight committee approval. It's the participant's name is Dustin Ruggles. He goes to BOCES in Saratoga for heavy equipment. The faculty member that is supporting this is Bruce Hoffman. We expect that it'll be for the rest of this semester and next semester. We will provide monthly updates to the BOCES program, and he'll learn the dynamics of the shop and the maintenance of heavy equipment and the repairs of heavy equipment. He'll work Monday to Thursday. We haven't figured that out perfectly yet, but between 4 and 6 hours. And supervision will be shared among the mechanics to allow as much exposure to the elements of the industry as possible. So I'm requesting permission to have an intern in the shop.
Does anybody want to move that? Paul moves it. Is there a second? Daryl seconds it. Anybody have questions, comments? Okay, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, very good. Anything else, Deb?
So that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Dan?
It's not a question so much, Deb. I was wondering, only because I think the town of East had bid on it, the surplus machinery from last couple months ago, is
Yep.
Do you normally, or could you send to the supervisors if they're interested? Otherwise, I'll just come down and get it myself. What things went for, or have you done that and I just missed it?
Oh, no, I haven't done that, but I could. Yep.
Okay, I'd appreciate it because I'd like to see how close we were when we bid on it. We didn't.
Well,
I
that
don't know.
that one was shocking, and I don't know how much it went for, but it was a lot. And I think it went to Ohio.
Yeah, okay. Well, if you
But
could
I'll
send
get
those
that.
out, I think it'd be good every time we declare something surplus to see what it's going for. I think the
Sure.
supervisors might be interested.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That'd be good, because the rest of us towns might know what something's worth that we're sitting at. Anybody
Yep,
else?
I'll do that.
Does that all go through Auctions International, Deb?
I think we use Auctions International. There's
So the previous one
two.
went through them, and the new ones will go through them too, right? The two we just
Yes.
approved
Yep.
today?
Yep. Yeah, we use the same auction site. I don't think I can't remember. I think it's Auctions International. I'm sorry. I can't. There's two that we have a choice of using, and this one we've had the most success with.
Can you just shoot us, Deb, which one it is, so that
Yep.
if our guys are looking it up? Thank you. And you went
Will
on.
do.
Anybody else questions for Deb? All right, very good. Thank
Great.
you, Deb.
Thank you.
Good morning, Joe. I thought I saw you on here. Good morning, Joe. Are you ready? There he is. Okay. He's muted. There you go. good, Joe. At least you're showing that on ours.
You hit it.
Can you hear us, Joe? Okay. We haven't been able to hear you yet. Go ahead if you can. No, we're just,
Must be reconnecting.
that's what I'm wondering.
I have a horrible connection today too. Maybe he has the same.
I know this morning at home, I couldn't have done a Zoom. It was coming and going so bad.
Looks like he's on.
We see you're still on, Joe. We just can't hear you yet.
What footage you bid on? The shoulder machine. Oh, okay.
And I think that Hartford bid on it.
What's that?
It's, what would we approve today?
It's a great all something else.
Okay.
Probably. That's out of carpool.
I think Joe's called in before that he would dial up if.
I think for over 10 grand.
I don't know, Joe, if you might have to try to call in like you've done before. We're still not getting anything.
You don't need a great all, but if we can pick one up cheaply, like.
Right.
My phone price is broken.
We lost them all together here.
Jay, while we're waiting, can I ask Brian a sewer department question?
Sure, go ahead. Brian, you all up and ready? Okay.
For the sewer district, I bet I'm ready, yeah. Go ahead.
He says he's got all the answers for the
Yeah.
sewer district.
Bet on that.
Okay, Brian,
Go ahead.
in the budget, I asked a couple times and I was never able to get a good question on wages in light of Joe going to retire.
Dana, can I stop you there and not answer that? Because there's a reason we didn't answer that, and I don't want to go there now either for the same reason. I think you understand?
No, I don't.
Oh, jeez.
Dana, we're gonna be discussing, at least the deputy position in the sewer, which Joe will be stepping into, and we do have dollar values on that one.
That's my question. Thank you.
Okay. I think he's just shutting off for an update again. Are you on, Joe?
So Dan, I haven't got the official word, but it was about $9,000 that shoulder machine went for.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. But
But
you'll
I'll
get
get-
the list to us?
Yep, I will do that.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Joe, do we have you now? We can see you. Do you know sign language? I can't read it, but maybe somebody here can. He's shrugging. You want to try and call in like you've done before, Joe? Looks like he should be coming in.
Thanks.
Hey, I just called Joe and it says that his meeting ID doesn't work. So is that something Sandy might be able to help him out with?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing him, but we're just not getting any audio.
Yeah.
He could be here.
I could forward him the link, but I'm assuming he's clicking the same link that I had.
Well,
I'll
he's
try
not
that.
quite safe. Okay. Seems like his computer audio was not functioning, maybe. Yep. Yep. Joe, we're gonna talk about the temporary deputy position there while you're trying to get hooked up to us, okay? All right, very good. Go ahead, Melissa.
Okay, so on the agenda, Joe had that he wanted to create a deputy director position, and this is upon his retirement and then returning to help train the new director. This is a temporary part-time position, and the wage that the commissioners have agreed on is the $52 an hour with a maximum of $35,000 for the year. So whether or not that's used right away within a few months or throughout the year, that is the request.
Is there a motion to move that to personnel? Paul moves it. Is there a second? Matt seconds it. Discussion. Daryl seconds it. Is there discussion now on it? Okay, Dana, go ahead.
That was my question because in my budget, I have penciled in the margin. Joe, part-time, $35,000 question mark. So that answers it is the 35,000, but I think it's a little bit different title now. And my question was, is there a sunset to this? But Melissa said for a year. So if it were going to go beyond that, we would have to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
And the actual title is, the temporary title would be Deputy Director of Water. I'm sorry, I tried to read I didn't plan it on bringing this forward here. The Deputy Director of the Sewer District. That is the temporary title.
$52 per hour, maximum 35,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anybody know how many hours that takes to get to 35,000?
Do you know off the top of your head, Al?
700. Yeah, about 700. It's gonna be a little less.
Yeah.
Well,
Is that
700 is what works the numbers.
more than a part-time position works?
Melissa?
Being temporary, it would be okay for this purpose to train in a temporary position. It would be okay if it's more than the 20 hours a week, as long as it's just temporary. It can't be a long-term solution by any means.
All right. What benefits go with that? So this is not a part-time job, even though it's part-time work, correct? So there are benefits to this.
No.
No?
Joe would be retired. He would not receive any leave time, no sick time, vacation time. So no, there would be no benefit with this
Right.
position.
Thank you.
Thank you. Al, did you have?
Just for clarity, is this a 21 or 22 pattern change?
This is 22, I believe. If Joe could confirm. Last time I heard, he was retiring the beginning of December, using some vacation time, and then this would be for January of 2022. Is that correct, Joe? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Check one,
Yep.
two.
Yeah.
We can hear you now. Yep.
All right. What's the burning question again?
Your part-time temporary position that you'll be taking, if this is approved, that starts January 1st, is that correct?
Correct.
Anybody else have any
My
questions?
last,
Go
my
ahead,
last
Joe.
full-time day, my last full-time day is December 22nd. So my first day of retirement is the 23rd.
Matt?
Just
And I-
to get it all on
I
you,
just thought
everybody understands everything. So the new sewer district director, Joe will be the director till the end of the year. Then he will become deputy director. The person they hired is in some kind of position just for this year, then he'll come be director starting January 1st, correct?
Correct.
There is a shadow, there is an overlap in 21, as I recall, right?
Joe, did you said.
Yeah,
that
right now,
retirement-
he started, the week before Thanksgiving, on Thursday, the week before Thanksgiving, he started. And luckily, he came in Friday, next day. So, looks like he's gonna be here for a while.
But Joe, your retirement date, you just said is 12/23, correct?
First date of retirement, my last day is the 22nd.
So that being said, I would think that Jason would be the director upon your retirement, which would be the 24th. Or the 23rd.
Is
I'm
the 23rd
sorry.
his last day of work, or his actual date of
22nd is his
retirement?
last day of work. 23rd is his first day of retirement. So I would think Jason would be, appointed to the director position for the 23rd.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the way the resolution is written,
Okay.
So it should be.
I believe.
And then Joe will become the deputy director for 2022, be paid on an hourly basis, depending what the sewer commissioners want. He may use the 35,000 in the first 3 months, and he may take it over the course of the whole year. He may not use it all. It all depends on how many hours they need him to work per week that they can work out, right?
Right. And then that position would come off.
And then as soon as he hits that number, then that temporary part-time position sunsets, disappears. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So make sure everybody.
And there won't be any temporary deputy director for the last week of December, is what you're saying.
That's what I want to be clear.
That's what I'm needing.
I want to have the ability to pay him.
That's what I'm hearing from Joe. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not till January 1st.
So there is no temporary deputy director till January, according to what is being said.
That's why I want clarity on things.
Yeah,
So it'll just be Jason for that last week.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if Joe had vacation time, he was gonna take that last week. And his actual last day of work is one day, and his actual retirement day is a different day. That's not the case.
Can't take vacation time after his official retirement date, so he must, if there's
But
any
he said his
vacation
last day
time.
of work was the 22nd. He didn't say the retirement date. That's why I just want to get it all clear.
But he did say it.
Okay.
The first day of retirement was the 23rd.
Okay.
He said it on the phone, whether he know what he said or not, I don't know. But yeah, it should be cleared.
So the reason to bring it forward now, I believe, is so that it could go to personnel, and we could also have it come to the full board, so that a resolution, could be passed with the hourly rate for that position.
Is there any other discussion? Questions? All right, all in favor of moving it to personnel, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Go ahead, Joe, now that we can hear you. You can
All
start
right,
from
got a
the,
couple of budget. First one is to reallocate money for small tools. We had purchased some, hand tools that meet the $500 threshold, so, we need to move some money from our small tool .2 line into a, .4 line.
okay, is there a motion to move that to finance? Moved by
$2,800.
Paul, second by Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, go ahead, Joe.
The next budget amendment, we're getting some furniture for the the office here, support staff office, and we've got a quote from Corecraft, and the amount to come from fund balance is $4,255.
Is there a motion to move that to finance? Ryan moves it. Second. Daryl seconds it. You
Just
got a
on
question?
this discussion, is that normal to send that to finance? The committee can't?
Well, I guess, should I just
Then
say
it
approve
ends
it, I
here, you
guess?
don't pile up all the stuff in finance.
The budget amendment has to be finance.
Yeah.
Is that a budget amendment?
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought I
Thank
was
you.
doing it right.
The account numbers may change when you see the finance.
Yeah, 2 to 4 is the budget amendment, and so is fund balance into the budget.
Any other questions or discussions on the motion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Go ahead, Joe.
We need to discuss the deputy director position any further. I think that was already done.
I think we're all set there. It's going on to personnel.
All right, we have solids building roof and admin building roof and HVAC bid that went out and was awarded. There were some procurement issues, and the end date on the original contract was, the project was supposed to be done by December 1st. Because of the procurement issues, we'd like to amend the contract for a June 2022 construction finish date.
Motion.
All right, Daryl makes a motion. Paul seconds it. Discussion. Brian?
We can just change the date? I mean, are they agreeable to that? I mean,
They're
I don't know.
We're gonna do an amendment to the contract with both of them for a finish date of June 20, and honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head if it's June 1st or June 30th of 2022.
So they're agreeable then. We can change our end, and they might not change theirs unless it works out.
Any other questions? All right, all in favor of making amendment to the contract, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Joe?
All right, and we were supposed to do, Jason sitting here over my shoulder. Jason started, like I said, a week or so ago. He came back a second day. I take that as a positive sign. Jason comes to us from New York State Environmental Facilities Corp. He and I have worked together quite a bit over the last 12 years while I've been here, and prior to that, while I was at DEC. He's super qualified. He's already cranking right up and taken to the position pretty well. I look forward to helping with that transition with him, and I think you'll be very happy.
Thank you. Anybody have questions for Jason? Welcome aboard. Be good talking to you down the road.
Right. Look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Anything else, Joe?
No, that's it for me. Thank you very much. Been a joy.
Anybody have questions for Joe? Oh, all right. Sorry, Tina. Didn't see you. Go ahead.
This is for Joe or Jason. Do either one of you have any knowledge or experience of residential wastewater treatment systems? And I don't mean the sewer district, I mean a residence having its own wastewater treatment system, which are coming out. They can handle flows of 500 gallons a day, 600 or 750. And these are not a septic tank, but a wastewater treatment system that a backhoe buries in the ground, maybe the same size as a regular septic tank. And I know with code enforcement coming up this afternoon, I'm going to ask a question about this. Joe, you're retired. Maybe you would be an inspector for code enforcement, but do either one of you have any knowledge or experience in these small residential wastewater treatment systems?
I do, I should say I did. When the on-site treatment systems, when I was with DEC, I did a little bit of work with some of these. It was the on-site treatment network, OTN, and yeah, we helped a little bit, or I was involved a little bit with kind of rewriting some guidance with them. I know that these systems are popular around water bodies, the Finger Lakes especially, and they work. You have to maintain them. It takes more effort on the part of the homeowner or the owner to maintain them than a normal septic system would. But it's pretty straightforward stuff, and it can get complicated depending on what you want the effluent from that system to be. You know, what level of treatment you want, but they're straightforward and not too complicated.
Well, years ago when Seth Pitts was supervisor of Salem, he was saying about how, you know, the old time village lots, you know, made back in the horse and buggy days, are too small for any kind of a septic system and leach field, and businesses in the village of Salem were being forced to go out of business because they do not have a sewer. And I'm wondering if something like our old village size lots could use these. They have no choice right now. Municipality's not going to build a sewer, but these could be an answer, not only if you're close to a body of water, but if you are in a village, on a small village lot, because, you know, you can add on components, you can add on, these all have an aerator, but you can add on a UV light or chlorination so that the effluent coming out, they describe as pristine, but those are their words. So I'm wondering if this could possibly be a solution for the economy of some of our villages where the lots are, you know, the other choice is to buy the next lot to you and have it large enough, but that doesn't always work out.
Well, speaking of, you could have a lot that would have a system that could handle 2 or 3 other lots, not just the lot next door. You might be able to upsize the system enough to take 2 or 3, and you'd have, those are like, I think they call those like cluster systems. But really the key to these on-site systems is soil conditions. So you have to have the right type of soil as well in order for these to work well. And it also depends on what kind of effluent quality you want out of these. And they're expensive. It's much more expensive than a conventional septic system. But, you know, it may be financially viable.
Well, I think
shape, or form, especially
a 500 gallon a day system built out of concrete is about $10,000. And what I'm looking at is literature from Norweco. Maybe you've heard of them. It's the Norwalk Wastewater Equipment Company in Ohio. They make these things. They're already engineered. Now in New York State, if you're going to put in a septic system, it has to be designed by an engineer, but these systems are already engineered. And in some of these village lots, I see sewers on now. This may be an answer for them because they really have no other choice to go on. I just wondered if you had any experience, if this is a subject that we might, you know, talk about a little bit more underneath code enforcement. If you and Jason have knowledge, maybe you can help out.
Certainly. I think that's worth looking into. There's more than just Norweco systems out there too. So that's something to maybe research a little bit as well.
Joe, you said they're OTN, on-site treatment network. I can find information there.
Yeah, I think it's otn.org, I think. I'll try to reach back out to, some contacts and see if I can zero in on that, and I'll shoot it out to you.
Thank you.
Melissa?
Supervisor Haas, as far as I'm aware, John's not going to be at committee today, but I will send him an email. Actually, I just did, telling him that you're asking these questions, and maybe he can contact you upon his return.
Thank you. My main question for him is, if you have an engineered system, do you need an engineer to plan that system? Which I think is overburdensome. Going to cost you $3,000 to have an engineer plan a system, when really you just need to oversee that engineered system being installed. Thank you.
I can forward that request.
If I'm a property owner and I'm spending $10,000 on my treatment system, I don't know that the engineering costs involved in a engineered system would be as extensive as costs for a septic system leach field. Do you know what I mean? Well, you want to make sure that tank is put in the right position, that the hole that you're putting it in can support that tank. You don't want that thing to move after 4 or 5 years. So that, I think that part of the system should at least have engineering specifications, right? So that the installer understands what's required to make this system sit correctly and function correctly. I wouldn't be quite so against the engineering part of it. I don't think if it's a pre-engineered system, as far as treatment system, that's fine. But you have to remember, you've got freeze-thaw issues to consider. You've got the soil conditions to consider. So that might come into it from an engineering perspective.
Well, Joe, back in the day, not that long ago, you needed a perk test. The installers are competent, they know what they're doing, but now we've made it so much regulations that you now have to have an engineer stamped plan before you can go out and get a 1,000-gallon concrete septic tank with a leach field. Where back when I built my house, you needed a perk test. That was it. And the installers, they're not going to, put your infiltrator system underneath the parking lot, which I think Washington County did. You're not going to do that.
Sue, you had a question?
Yeah. While we're talking about these engineered systems, the other component for Salem is where the water table is at, and it can be 6 to 9 feet below the surface. And so even engineered systems, we've had one organization came in that did their sewer system, and they spent 2 weeks trying to pump out the water as fast as they were trying to put the tank in. And that was with an engineered system. So, it's certainly a dilemma, because it's not only lot size, it's where the water table is at, which comes into play. So if you have any ideas on that, that would be great.
I got a question for either Melissa or Al. Is this something that a town could use some of their CARES money on? Because I know it says infrastructure. If it was helping businesses set something like this up, if they would work.
I could envision a municipality setting up a program whereby businesses could apply for like a grant structure. I could see that being a legitimate use of CARES Act money.
I agree.
Any other questions for Joe? Brian?
Well, just when Joe mentioned it, he talked about, and I think Dana did, about residential. I have not heard anything that we were allowed to do that with businesses. So, Joe, can you comment on that? Because I kind of didn't hear both things from you.
Well, an engineered system, you just have to let them know that it was being used for a restaurant or a commercial or what type of system, and they adjust that design to that. And it would essentially be, they would, a pre-filter, post-filter kind of thing. I think that would be the only major difference. If it were a restaurant, you'd want to make sure that inside the restaurant, they have a functioning grease trap. Or you could put one outside ahead of this treatment unit. That would be the only concern for commercial, is that you liquefy the stream going into it. You don't want bulky materials going into it.
Thank you.
Jason's got a comment as well.
Traditionally, those systems are regulated under two thresholds, right? Article 75A goes to, that's the State Department of Health threshold up to 1,000 gallons per day, right, for residential. Anything greater than that, from 1,000 to 10,000, is handled under DEC, right? So it's a gallons per day estimate on the type of function, the system, the technology, as you guys were describing, the description, the soil profiling, the setbacks. But the regulatory agencies, right, up to 1,000 is regulated under Article 75A, the Department of Health, and anything greater than that is regulated by DEC under their intermediate size design standards. And in those design standards, you'll see there's different profile systems or technologies that are approved by the department. What we would like to see in my previous work is that the system has been proven, the technology has been proven. We would see standard technologies be presented, but we'd like to see pilot studies. That's what they're going to be looking for in the standards, but the technology that you're describing, either infiltrators or Naroka, there's several different types of systems that are out there, but in those systems, there is standards that have to be followed, and if it was designed in Ohio, we would want that system to meet New York State standards, right? Weather conditions, there's different profiles that we look for in the standards. And that engineer would have to be professional engineer certified in New York State. So the certification may be coming, and the technology being presented in Ohio would have to be presented in New York State too. So, but different systems should be evaluated. It's pulling together the different agencies between the Department of Health and DEC on the type of business that you're looking at, the conditions of the site, and the technology being proposed. But if you have any further questions, you can call me.
Dana and Sue, what we can do is we can put some links together for you, like that Part 75A is very important. The intermediate design standards from DEC would be important to look at. And like Jason said, I think there is information out there of approved technologies in New York State. So we'll try and find that and get that out to you too.
Thank you.
Anything else to come before the committee? If not, meeting's adjourned.
We're gonna break.
Thank you.
We're gonna go right to, Don is gonna come up here and take over.
Well, there wasn't any other today?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know. She told me this morning, otherwise I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, that's great.
I thought so myself.
Start right up.
Yeah, I got a couple of these on my.
Okay.
That's great. That was cold.
I'd like to call the public safety meeting to order at 10:42. And Need a motion to accept the minutes from October 26th, 2021. Matt? Sue, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Next up, EMS advisory appointments. To fill unexpired terms, 12/3/123. Edward Parker from Argyle EMS replaces Holly DeSandri. And Regina Ladd, Fort Ann Rescue Squad replaces Allison Froman. Need a motion to move that to the board for the appointment approval.
So moved.
Thank you, Dave. Second. Sue, any discussion? All in favor to move that forward?
Discussion.
Dan's got a
Okay, Dan, I didn't see it.
How much of a monkey wrench would be if I asked for an executive session? Or the appointment of, Roger can say what it is, for the appointment, consideration of an appointment of a person?
As long as it's one of these two people,
Yes.
that would be permissible.
I'd like to make that motion.
Yeah, on the committee.
Yeah. So Dan, are you making a motion to go into executive session to discuss the appointments?
Yes, please.
Do I have a second?
My interest is piqued, I gotta say, and I can't vote.
All in favor of going to executive session to discuss the appointments? Aye.
Aye.
All right, give us a minute.
You really should see if you want the sheriff and the DA and, you know, I mean, they're welcome to stay. I think the chairman makes that choice, right?
I would like this just to be the supervisors.